Good evening, TikTok. It's your local Crusader here, continuing on where we left off in Genesis 39. Joseph imprisoned in Egypt. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt and Potiphar, Pharaoh's eunuch and captain on the guard, and Egyptian, had bought him and taken him to the Ishmaelites who had taken him down there. The Lord was with Joseph, and he was a successful man, and he was living in the house of his Lord the Egyptian. So his Lord, lowercase l, saw that the Lord was with him, and the Lord made all he did prosper in his hand. Thus Joseph found grace in his sight, and was pleasing to him. Then he made him overseer of the house, and put everything he had under Joseph's authority. So it was from the time he made him overseer of his house, and all he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessing of the Lord was on all that he had in the house, and in the field. Thus he left all he had in Joseph's hand, and did not know what all he had, except for the bread he ate. Now Joseph was handsome in form and appearance. Then it came to pass after these things, that his Lord's wife cast longing eyes on Joseph. Woohoo! And she said, "Lie with me." But he refused, and said to his Lord's wife, "Look, my Lord does not know what is with me in the house, and has committed all he has to my hand. There is no one greater in this house than I. Nor has he kept back anything from me, but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" So it was, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not heed her to lie with her or have relations with her. But it happened about this time, when Joseph went in the house to do his work, and none of the men of the house was inside, she caught him by his garment, saying, "Lie with me." But he left his garment in her hand, and fled and ran outside. So it was, when she saw he had left his garment in her hand and fled outside, she called to the men of her house and spoke to them, saying, "See, he brought in to us a Hebrew to mock us. He came into me to lie with me." And I cried out with a loud voice. Thus it happened, when he heard that I lifted my voice and cried out, he left his garment with me, and fled and went outside. So she kept his garment with her until his Lord came home. Then she spoke to him with words like these, saying, "The Hebrew servant you brought to us came into me to mock me. So it happened, as I lifted my voice and cried out, he left his garment with me and fled outside." So it was, when his Lord heard the words of his wife spoke to him, "Your servant did this to me after this manner," and his anger was aroused. Then Joseph's Lord took him and put him in prison, a place where the king's prisoners were confined. But the Lord was with Joseph, and showed him mercy. He gave him grace in the sight of the chief prison keeper. So the chief keeper of the prison put under Joseph's authority both the prison and all the prisoners, and whatever they did there. The chief keeper of the prison did not look into anything under Joseph's authority, because the Lord was with him, and whatever he did, the Lord made it prosper. And that is Genesis 39. Joseph really did prosper.